All right, hello everybody. Just getting back to you. We have been talking this week a little bit about how the Federal Reserve is going to be cutting interest rates and how that does not necessarily correlate with home loan interest rates. We want to talk about how does that really affect us as home buyers or refinancers. So first off, I want to let you know that they did cut the interest rate, the federal funds rate, by 0.25%. That's kind of the number that they put out there. Now that was back on Wednesday the 31st. I was unable to get back to you the day after because I had some technical issues here with the video. So letting you know what's been happening since they made that cut. So the Federal Reserve goes in, cuts their interest rate by 0.25%. Now the federal funds rate is the interest rate that is used between banks. When one bank lends money to another bank, they have what's called the federal funds rate. So this is not the home loan interest rate. It does affect other things though. It affects the prime rate. The prime rate is directly tied to most of our credit cards and home equity lines. So you should see a direct response to that. And lowering the federal funds rate, the goal for this is to try to stimulate the economy a little bit, make sure that it keeps plugging away and that it doesn't slow down too quickly. So this is one of the controls that the government uses to monitor and affect the economy in general. So they made the cut by 0.25%. So what has that done to our home loan interest rates? Well, right away, we didn't see much of a change. There wasn't a lot that happened that day. And the reason that we feel that happened is because essentially this federal funds cut was what we call baked in to the markets, meaning that we already expected it. People weren't surprised to see that cut, so you didn't see some dramatic change. You saw basically people say, okay, that's what I expected. If they hadn't cut the interest rates, that's when we probably would have seen something because the expectation was there. So they did. Now the market didn't change a whole lot. In the morning on the next day, which was Thursday the 1st, we saw bonds really improve, mortgage bonds really improve, interest rates kind of move in the right direction of going lower. And we'll talk more in another video about what I mean by interest rates moving in the right direction, interest rates going lower, but yet you don't see a change to the interest rate on your home loan. And I'll explain what I mean by that in another video. But we saw an improvement in the overall market for home loan interest rates on Thursday. Now, here's the thing though, we also saw a lot of buzz and clamoring with President Trump and the Chinese. And that has been a lot more controlling of the bond market and stock market the last few months really than really anything else. It's just been this trade war that you've probably heard a little bit about in the media. So the trade war seemed to have more effect on home loan interest rates than cutting the federal funds rate by 0.25%. In my opinion, that's kind of what I've seen. So today is now Friday. The markets are fairly calm. The bond market itself, we're not seeing much of an adjustment right now, pretty flat. The stock market has been down as much as 300 points, and that being directly the commentary is that this is tied to the trade war. So again, we're seeing a lot more effect because of the trade war than because of the the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates 0.25% back on Wednesday. So the whole point here for these last few videos is to illustrate that the Federal Reserve does not have direct control over home loan interest rates. They can influence them. So I can tell you right now, they cut the federal funds rate by 0.25%, and interest rates on home loans have not dropped 0.25% since they did that. They have improved. Some of them might be down 0.125%, but definitely not down 0.25%. Once again, they have influence to the general economy, which then rolls over to the bond market, which is what really does matter when it comes to home loan interest rates. So more to come on how this all works. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. Make sure you subscribe, share all those different things so that more people can begin to understand how the housing interest rate market works. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.